Right, hello and welcome to this week's angling vlog. This week you join me on the banks of the river and we're in search of chub on the stick float. So as you've seen at the start of the video and on screen now, we've been treated to a beautiful morning, bright red sky, but it is chilly. There's a frost on the ground and there's plenty of snow from the recent days before. So although today is cold, it's not as cold as it was yesterday on the banks of the River Ribble. It was -3 with a wind chill factor of -6. Made for an interesting day on the bank with plenty of mates, and including Mr. Seal, who decided to make an appearance as well. So what an eventful day that was on the banks of the River Ribble yesterday. Being an all-round angler, I love nothing more than opening my front door in the morning and just deciding what I want to do that day. Today, it was a close call between chub and pike, but my heart today wanted to go with chub. Backs of today, and the river is really clear, so it is going to be a challenging day to get numbers of chub, I think. But you never really know with chub. Sometimes they can really surprise you. As we know from a recent video that I'll link at the top of the screen, we have found a bit of a swim where a few of them like to hang out. So I'm going to leave that till this afternoon, and in the morning, travelling light as you can see on screen, just me hold all and me keep net bag, and the rod's already made up. Just going to have a bit of an explore and see if we can find some other chub in some other swims. A nice little setup that allows me to stay in one swim if I want to stay in one swim with the keep net, or rove about a bit. And it's that roving about a bit that we're going to do this morning. We get lots of questions on finding swims, and although the river is low and clear, it does make it hard to catch numbers of chub. It does make finding them a bit easier. When the river is this low, you can literally see the areas where there's no chub. You can see there, we can see the bottom, it's shallow, there's rocks, there's just going to be no fish there. What we're looking for are them dark bits of river that you can see on screen now. And in them dark bits, that is where Mr. Chub is going to live. So the first swim, as you can see, you've got to walk through a bit of a jungle to get to, but then it does open out into a nice little swim. It's very tight, and we are on top of that dark water. You can see there, got the shallows where you can't see Mr. Chub. But just a little bit closer, we've got this dark water here. We've got a lovely trot down to a snag. So hopefully we can get Mr. Chub. So bait wise, nice and simple. We've got plenty of maggots, about 3 pints, and some hemp from Hinders. And the rod that we're using is the 13-foot Cordon Glide. I've got that down to one of the new fine liner floats, a bulk shot of Dinsmore weight, and that's down to a 1 pound 7 ounce hook link and a size 20 hook. So as you can see, a beautiful morning to be on the bank. You've got that sun just beginning to glow on the horizon. You've got the snow still on the ground, and I'm sure Mr. Sunshine will get rid of some of that. And me, I'm spending my Sunday morning just priming a swim for chub. Literally just sat here feeding the swim with maggots before we make that first cast. Nice easy swim, just feeding, literally rod tip, and then we're going to be running down just over that dark water there. And like I've said before, if you just take your time and prep the swim, you can go straight in and get lucky on your first cast. And that's exactly what we've done here with Mr. Chub. We've gone straight in. The float literally went 10 yards down the swim, and we've got the first chub of the day. And we've been fishing for about 15 minutes. 14 minutes of that was putting maggots in. It's just how you can get those quick bites on a freezing cold day off Mr. Chub. Feeding for about 14 minutes, fishing for about 1. It didn't take too long to find those maggots. A lovely chub, bit of a story to tell, and one of them will be on Danny's angling blog as the first fish of the day. Let's get him straight back, let's get back in there and see if we can get another. That's a lovely way to start the day. I do feel our time in this swim is limited. There is a snag in it, but it is quite open, and I do think when that sun comes up, that will be our opportunity gone. And a lot of chub fishing is about taking advantage of those little windows of opportunity. So that chub did come really quickly. It didn't make any disturbance when it come in really. So I'm going to go straight back out there and see if we can, you know, get another opportunistic bite on that tiny size 20 hook and a single maggot. So when you've played this game of chess a few times with Mr. Chub, you get used to their behaviours and antics, and they're the same on every river, but you have got to make the most of this swim, most definitely. We've gone straight back in, we're into the next chub of the day. I say, swims like this that, you know, are relatively shallow, you've just got to make the most of and get the most out of them in that window. The second chub coming on the very next cast, and yeah, it's all about making the most of those little windows of opportunity and knowing the swim you're fishing and its capabilities. If this swim was really deep, I'd be confident of getting a few, but the way it is, it's shallow, and when that sun comes up, it's going to impact the swim definitely. Right up on them maggots and that hemp, and that is why I use the keep net. You put that fish straight back, you zoom straight across the river, straight through the shoal, if there is one there, and spooks them. So that hopefully it just shows that you don't need big tackle to target chub, you just need balanced tackle, a strong rod that can take them and cushion the fight. Well, that's £2 6 ounce or 1 ounce Bay of Pearl on, and a tiny size 20 hook. I do love targeting chub on this river. We've just hooked into number 3. It's come right on the hemp and it's bolted straight down the river for that snag. So I'm keeping the rod low and just hoping that none of that snag goes through the water. With chub, it's just a case of just trying to tease them. So I'm reeling in and then just gently just pulling back just to try and bring it up the river, and if he goes, just give him that line. But you can see there, he's coming, he's plodding, but he's still coming up the river towards me. You reel right back in on a loose drag. You can see there the drag's really loose, but then we're just going to tease him back up again, and you can see there he comes up. We've managed to get a chub that had bolted for the snag down the river, right back underneath her feet. If we can get this one in, it'll be proper made up, but normally when you see the white lips of Mr. Chub, that's normally game over. So that's Mr. Chub in the net, number 3. We'll give him a bit of a rest while Danny has a bit of a rest, and then we'll get him out and we'll take a look. That is the beauty of chub fishing and why I love it. It surprises you all the time. This swim, I would have said we'd have got 1 out of, maybe 2 if we were lucky, but with that sun just going behind the clouds, the window of opportunity is still there, and who knows, it could be a swim we could fish all day, because there's about 20 yards of it that have not been down with the float yet. When I said the swim was tight, I'm surrounded by nettles and brambles, and that is literally the view 2 inches above my head. So yeah, sometimes you've just got to be willing to suffer a little bit of discomfort to get the rewards. When it comes to Mr. Chub, your mentality with it has got to be like Mr. Chub himself, greedy and wanting to take advantage. This swim here has produced 3 chub now, and I'm not going to move until I feel like the opportunity's gone or the chub have gone. You've really got to be stubborn and aggressive. Going to keep chucking them maggots in there. Like I say, all the bites have come about here, so yeah, I'm going to be really aggressive with my feeding and just try and make the most of this opportunity. You can see there the clouds out, so everything's going in our favour, and there's every opportunity now, hopefully, to get 1 or 2 more. So as you've seen there, we got number 4 proper made up, but there are changes starting to happen with this swim now. Number 1, I'm finding myself going further down the swim, you know, in search of bites. So that's a sign that they've backed off and they're not as aggressive as they was. But number 2, there's a bit of clarity appearing. Don't know if it can appear any different on the video, but you can just see more of the bottom, and hopefully it shows there from when I showed the swim at the start. And that is just daylight, literally getting brighter, and that's why that window of opportunity is so important, and knowing when to rest the swim and when the clock's ticking, and the clock was definitely ticking with that one. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have a bit of a walk because I'm sat down and it isn't the warmest. Keep on drip feeding some maggots in for around about 15 minutes just to see if we can tempt them back in, and if not, we'll take a look at that net and then we'll move on. So by giving that swim that 15-minute rest, a swim that was going through with nothing, we've managed to fill one more, but he's right down the swim, and this does feel like the last one, if I'm honest. When they go right down and disappear like that, giving it a rest for 15 minutes, I'd expect them to be right on me again, not be right down the swim. So yeah, number 5, and hopefully we can get him in. So that's chub number 5. I'm going to blog him really quickly because I do feel the clock is ticking now in this swim. It's getting lighter, and yeah, if we're going to get any more, we're going to have to be quick. So let's get it straight back and get straight back in there. So a good tactic when you are trying to get those last bites out of a swim is moving over to a bigger bait. So yeah, double maggot, and let's just see if we can fill one more. And what started out as a swim to maybe catch 1 or 2 in turned into a bit of a good session. We're just hooked into number 6, and yeah, what a decision it was to go for chub and not Mr. Pike. Feels like a slightly better fish, just holding downstream, and when I try and tease it up, it just kicks back with a bit of defiance, kicking up a bit of fuss, most definitely. And you can't beat those oily ripples in the winter when you've got a chub on the other end, just coming to the end of the battle. He's making a bit of fuss. Almost be Mr. Trout with that flapping. There's them white lips, and that signifies the end of the battle, most definitely. I think that's chub number 6, so you know it's going well when you're beginning to lose a bit of count. And I never imagined we'd get so many from this swim when I looked at it. Maybe 1 if we were lucky 2. So yeah, let's get this lovely chub back. Let's see if there's another one there. Like I say, you've got to be greedy when it comes to chub. Keep going till you think they've gone or the opportunity's gone. When we arrived in that swim, I thought it'd be good for 1, maybe 2 chub, and the conditions had changed, the sun had come out and the opportunity would go. That is why you've got to keep in tune with the swim, the conditions, the cloud come over, and it allowed for an excellent opportunity for those fish to continue to feed. And as you can see, we've had 6 chub from that swim, and more than I could have imagined when we first went into it. It's about 11 o'clock now, 11:15, and we've moved to swim number 2, and hopefully we can pick up 1 or 2 more chub as we continue to explore the river. You can see there we've got a beautiful snag downstream, but it is really quick down to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to target this inside line down here, and hopefully I can draw any chub over into this dark water here. So in the interest of saving time, I'm sure you guys don't want to see me trotting for half an hour on a swim. That other swim just didn't produce. So after a bit of an epic battle, he's in the net, and what a battle he did put up. Really good fun. You know, been 20 minutes till the next bite, and that is purely down to just how clear it is. I say it's taken 20 minutes now to get the next bite, whereas that swim this morning, that bit of cover, cloud cover, that darker water, and we were literally getting a bite of chuck. Proper made up to get 2 chub out of this swim. We'll get him straight back. Probably got about half an hour of the session left, so hopefully we can pick up 1 or 2 more. But yeah, what a great day's fishing it's been. Let's get it straight back and get back out there. So that does bring the session to an end there now. 2 chub from that final swim, and 8 in total on the day. I left the banks a happy man. Hopefully this video just shows how exciting chub fishing can be, and how you never really know how they're going to be on the day. If those conditions stay the same, you can have a really good day's fishing in 1 swim, or you can rove about and pick up 1 or 2 from each one. But if you make the most of those conditions, you can really bag up. As always, I want to thank you all for the support you show the channel. It'd be great if you can like and subscribe. Tight lines in your own fishing, and I'll catch you all next week. Tight lines.